Guys, I don't know what's going on recently, but I'm like floored by this energy. You know that like typing cat gif where the cat is like typing and flames are coming out of it because it's typing so fast? That feels like me writing all the things that I've been channeling in my descriptions for you in every reading. It's like, I don't know if it's because my channel is so big now. Like, I never expected it to grow like this. I was channeling for a very small subset of people, but it feels like there's so many messages that need to go out, and the messages themselves are very intricate. I guess just bear with me because my descriptions might get wordier and wordier for the next couple of readings just because I'm sorting through so much at once. I might also change my approach, maybe do smaller messages. I'm not sure. But definitely some very intense channeling lately. So I guess always check out the dissertations that I write in the descriptions. It's to keep these messages as short, as sweet, and as possible, but to make sure to give my detail lovers what they love and need as well. You'll probably want to check out the description for this one too, because I just can instinctively feel there's going to be so much. So definitely check out the description always for my readings. I also feel I need to let you guys know something again. I told you all this a while back, but I know there's a lot of new people here now. So I think I'm going to say it again, is the reason I don't reply to comments is not because I do not read them or I do not care. In fact, I do think it's the opposite. It's because I could never ever respond to all of you in the way I feel is honoring enough. So my honor is in the silence and the content quality that I give you. I also believe that responding or liking only a few, and there's nothing wrong with creators that do this, so don't hear it that way. I feel that only responding to a select few creates an unequal system. I'm favoring some and not others. It's very important to me. I respect you all equally and intentionally, and I take energy fairness very seriously. I take a lot of things very seriously. So I just want you to all know that I take your comments more seriously than it appears, and I protect the energy and sacredness by not responding in ways that you cannot see. And it feels important that I get that message out to you, especially as my channel keeps growing. A little bit of an intense beginning here. Now that I've gotten all that seriousness out, let's move on to this message. There's a couple of things with who I'm speaking to today to know this message is yours. The first feels very, very specific. It's about produce. It's about food. I definitely will leave the notes for you because I don't know if I'll explain it well enough in what's coming up for me right now. It feels very unclear, but you could be more aware of your produce at this time. You could be more aware of your food purchasing to try to purchase less, to not waste food, to not waste produce. There's some sort of awareness here of how much quantity of food you're buying. It's a very, very specific message. I do feel like it's going to come up later too, because it's not clear right now. So I'm probably going to have to go back to that because the energy is really strong in that one. But if you have recently had awareness of your food, this message could be for you. I also think that the main audience I'm talking to today has recently undergone a shift in how they are communicating. So this message feels very important to like communicational style and some sort of really, really massive shift in energy. There's like Pluto destruction energy here that's really present. I sense there are a lot of energies around you that maybe have recently been voicing their opinions on your shift, or you can feel how they feel about your shift. Maybe some aren't directly saying anything, but you just kind of like feel their response. You're just intuitively aware of this shift. I sense like you'll know what I'm talking about when I say that, but I believe this is a message for those where the energy has snapped in some way. It's almost like you reached a point where you could no longer go back to the old you if you tried, and you might be aware of that. Like you've reached the peak of a mountain and now you're descending and you're not going to go back up and go back down the other way. That's kind of how it feels. I kind of get the sense that your body will fully reject going back to how you used to be or the old you. And there's kind of like a conflict here internally about that. Like the old you felt more comfortable in specific ways. And you feel this conflict deeply because you respect your growth. It would be unbearable to go back to how you were, but you also feel belonging in how you used to be because it made others comfortable in some way. If that internal conflict resonates with you, I think this message is for you. If you feel like you could never go back to how you used to be and your body would fully reject it, this is your message. I keep hearing expansion is really an understatement. Like the word expansion cannot adequately explain what we're talking about here in an energy perspective. You've been constantly expanding, but this is a really different peak point we're talking about here. So expansion doesn't cover it. It's like threshold reaching energy. I'm not sure if you'll just know what I mean by that, because I don't even think I know what I mean yet, as the energy is kind of like folding in front of me. But I do sense this is peak energy, like either conscious or unconscious, a door is closed behind you and it is locked now. That sounds kind of scary, but actually it's important that that door locks so you can't go backwards in a way again. There's something important about that locking mechanism. So you maybe have felt past returning spikes, like you would either go back to something you've known you've outgrown or you reminisce about it in your head. There's definitely like cycles here that have been through your expansion because your expansion has been taking place for so long. Okay, this is kind of odd, but there's an analogy here, or I guess a metaphor to comfort you. I don't really know why, but the comparison is you're saving a lot of money and then you spend a large sum in one night, and that's your returning energy. The spending itself is a big chunk and you feel bad about that, but it doesn't reverse the wealth you've accumulated as a whole. So I think Spirit wants you to know that because you might have been under the impression that when you go back or when you reminisce or when you're doing this, that you're going back, but you can't undo the expansion process that you've been undergoing. It's kind of like saving a lot over a long period. This is wealth that can't really have a dent in it in a few moments of going back. So you still continue that momentum. I don't know why, but it's important to give you that reassurance as we continue here. But I don't feel like going back is a part of this message. It's just more so reflective energy on your experience. So there's a huge shift here in this going back energy. Your money was spent on convincing others of something in the past. It's almost like those big spending ordeals that you did just stopped happening, or you don't do them as frequently, or you've changed the way you're doing them. This could show up in really small ways, but they have a huge energetic impact that I'm feeling. Like maybe you used to spend time jumping through hoops for people in ways that you don't now. And this is directly reflecting your words too, your communicational style. So you might be noticing comparison in your present day a little bit more. Like, for example, you're dating and you're seeing how little you explain before moving on, or at work, friendships, family, you're not engaging in those lesser energy entanglements in ways you used to. Your words are much more succinct now. This is something that you have never done, so you have to be aware of it. It's like being forced in front of you is look at this comparison in some way. The energy here is a person going from like a 900 word count to a 5 or 10 energy word count in characters. Even if you're saying the same thing, the way that you're saying is profoundly different. The energy isn't shifting from what you're saying or your message to people. The words are exactly the same. It's just like the delivery is much different now. So you don't spend as much time preparing. You don't fret over word choices. Something is just very, 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 very different in your communicational style as a whole, or is about to be, due to awareness that you've just recently been given. What I sense too is you might not think that this is a big deal. Like I sense you kind of brushing this off as it shouldn't create as large of an effect as I'm making it out to be. But I'm seeing that the words are a vessel point for your energy in a profound way. The vessel is sharper now, like you're containing the energy in a way where others can't draw from it, where it can't be released. So there's something very, very important that you might be underestimating or that I need to point out today. The way in which you're speaking has changed your frequency in a very fundamental way. So I was getting ready to conclude this, but something, of course, came back around. very odd, but definitely helped me understand what is trying to come through. You could be noticing right now that, again, you're wasting produce more, and that's why you felt this message was for you, or this food waste is pertaining to you in some physical way right now. There is a sort of awareness right now about food waste and spoiling for a very important reason. Something through the physical is being presented to you to explain the metaphysical. What Spirit is showing me is the importance of your words and what happens when you overfunction in a way through this food waste. The spoiling here seems to direct to where your power goes when it's not in a correct vessel. And what we see is that it spoils. You see that on the physical, I see that on the metaphysical. This is an important energetic vessel that you've been unconscious of until this point, or until very recently. I think sometimes we underestimate the energy behind our words, or we just brush off our words and their importance, which I can see sometimes words are kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of the energy behind them. Your words themselves aren't the focus from what I'm seeing. Like it doesn't really matter what you say at this point. I say that with a little asterisk because, words are still important to some degree, but the focus here is not what you're saying necessarily. I believe you might actually be saying the same thing. You're just saying less of it, or you're engaging in a way that contains your energy tighter, even if in very, very small ways of just awareness. You don't have to feel anything's changed in your communication. I think that the awareness can act as the vessel we're talking about here. You're just now realizing how much you've over-explained, and you're seeing yourself do it in some way in real time now. Even if you keep going back and doing it, even if you keep spending those large chunks, the awareness here could act as the vessel to protect the spending. It's really interesting because I feel there's an example being given on where you are versus where you were through the produce spoiling or the food waste. Numerology 13 came up here, and I believe it is alluding to the death and rebirth cycle. So Scorpio and Pluto transformational energy here is incredibly strong, and that's why this message is so potent. What it's showing me is like produce can spoil, but it can also ferment if it's given the right intention. So it can also change and transform into something useful and something we want with the right intention. The difference I'm being shown here in your intention and the containment method, the difference is in your intention. It's in your containment method for this power, and your power being your words and what's behind your words. Your past explanations to people, to situations, to things were left to rot. They were left too long. They were in the wrong vessels. They were given to the wrong people. And so your power wasn't growing as it should internally inside of you. And I think the energetic shift that's ridiculously strong in this message is that now the containment has shifted even slightly. Like your words are delivered once instead of many times. They're shorter. They are to different people. They have more awareness. And that is carrying gravity now to transform and ferment into something much different than what you've seen in the past. So I guess the message here is like very powerful. You don't need to make a huge change to what you're doing to transform. It's the same material you've always used, the same produce you've always bought. But since the vessel has changed, your power is not leaking the same way. So it's able to actually build inside of you like it's meant to. And I don't think you've ever had a moment, from what I can see in your life, where your energy wasn't leaking out in this way. I don't see a moment where it wasn't spoiling. I don't see a moment where the food didn't go to waste. So this is incredibly powerful energy. The shift is like profound, like you're entering new energy that you've never accessed before. And I think in looking back, things are going to be much more clear to you as you begin to see these things ferment and take different shape. But for now, just know it's on the path of doing so, and it's incredibly powerful. This last part is maybe a confirmation to those who already instinctively know to do this. but to keep leaving comments. The comments themselves do not have to be anything personal about you. Think of these as energetic nudges. This helps me align to your energy more efficiently and be able to channel for you. And I want to be able to do that. I read each and every one, always. None are missed, none are ignored. I am so thankful for each and every one of you and love you all. So, cheers, friends.